So, you're a pain management specialist, right? That means your world revolves around your patients, and that's exactly how it should be. But what about the health of your practice? Let's be real. To keep giving that amazing care, you've got to have the financial side locked down. And that, my friends, all comes down to the billing cycle. Okay, let me ask you a question, and be honest. Do you ever just get that feeling, that nagging suspicion that your practice is leaving money on the table? Like there's this slow, quiet leak somewhere in your revenue stream? Well, if you do, you're definitely not alone. And trust me, when you see the numbers, you'll see why. So get this. On average, a staggering 10 to 20% of all medical claims are denied on the very first try. Just think about that for a second. Out of every 10 claims you file, 1 or even 2 get kicked right back to you. That puts an immediate brake on your cash flow. And it gets worse. Each one of those denied claims isn't just delayed money. It's money you actually have to spend to fix. Reworking and resubmitting just a single claim can cost your practice anywhere from $25 to $40 in staff time and resources. Now multiply that by hundreds, maybe thousands of claims a year. And yeah, you can see how fast this turns into a massive financial drain. This quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You're pouring everything into providing top-notch care, but it feels like the system itself is actively working against you. So what do we do about it? How do you fight back? Well, the first step is to really understand the battlefield. Let's dive in and break down what makes this so incredibly tricky.
Yeah, this really isn't a straight line. It's more like a maze, a really complicated one. And the walls of that maze, they're built from the dense, confusing language of medical billing, the codes.
So what is coding really? At its heart, it's just a translation job. Every single thing you do for a patient, an injection, a consultation, you name it, has to be translated into a specific code from these huge alphabet soup libraries like CPT, ICD-10, and HCPCS. It's literally how you tell the insurance companies what you did and why they need to pay you for it. And just look at how specific we're talking. A facet joint injection isn't just some generic injection. No, it is precisely coded as 64490. Trigger point injection, that's 20552. Getting this first layer right is absolutely critical. But here's the thing. Pain management is rarely that simple, is it? Right. What if the procedure was on both sides of the body? Or what if it was a totally separate procedure you did on the same day? That base code, it doesn't tell that whole story. And that's where the next layer of complexity and frustration comes in. And that is where modifiers come into play. Honestly, the best way to think about a modifier is like an adjective for your procedure code. It doesn't change the main thing, the noun or the procedure itself, but it adds this critical descriptive detail that can totally change the story and, more importantly, your reimbursing. Okay, let's see how this plays out in the real world. You use modifier 50 for a bilateral procedure, and you could get paid at 150% of the normal rate. But if you forget it, boom, money left on the table. Use modifier 59 to show one procedure was truly distinct from another, and you get paid for both. Miss it, and the payer might just bundle them together and pay you for one. Heck, even forgetting a simple LT for left or RT for right can get the whole claims thrown out. These aren't just suggestions, they are non-negotiable. And this right here is the critical fork in the road for every single claim you file. One little typo, one forgotten modifier, and that's the difference between getting paid quickly and landing right back in that expensive denial pile. And here's the real kicker. Even if you get every single code and modifier perfectly right, you're still not out of the maze. Nope, there's a whole other layer of chaos to deal with. So welcome to the payer rule minefield. Because you see, mastering the codes is one thing, but every single insurance company plays by its own unique rulebook. What gets a claim sailed through with Medicare might get it instantly rejected by a private payer. Just take a look at acupuncture, for example. For Medicare, the rules are black and white. It's only for chronic low back pain, and you're capped at 20 sessions a year, period. But then you turn to a private insurance company, and it's a completely different universe. They might cover it for migraines. They might have a totally different session limit, or they might not cover it at all. This means your team has to verify coverage for every single patient, every single time. And believe me, it doesn't stop there. You've got the constant battle for prior authorizations. You've got to make sure your clinical notes justify medical necessity perfectly. You have to keep up with payer policies that are constantly changing. Oh, and you have to avoid accidentally unbundling services that they think should be billed together. It's literally a full-time job just to keep up with it all. Okay, so faced with this maze of codes and this minefield of rules, how in the world do you actually win? Well, you do it by changing your perspective. You have to stop treating billing like some separate task you do at the end of a visit, and you start seeing it for what it truly is, a complete cycle.
And that is the whole idea behind what's called revenue cycle management, or RCM. It's all about strategically managing the entire financial journey of a patient, from the moment they first call for an appointment all the way to that final zero balance. It's about being in control of the process, not just reacting to problems as they pop up.
So what does a really slick RCM process look like? Well, for one, it's proactive. It starts by verifying insurance and benefits before the patient even sets foot in your office. It's also super meticulous. It uses something called claim scrubbing to find and fix errors before they can trigger a denial. And finally, it's persistent. It has a dedicated system for immediately fighting and overturning any denials that do happen to slip through. Now, as you can probably imagine, building and maintaining a system this airtight in-house is, well, it's a huge undertaking. It takes constant training, deep expertise. And that's why, for a lot of practices, the smartest, most effective move is to bring in the pros, to partner with a team that lives and breathes this stuff every single day. And when you do that, you're not just handing off a bunch of tasks. You're bringing on a partner whose entire mission is to optimize these very numbers. They bring in expertise that leads directly to more revenue, way fewer denials, and much faster payments, all while, in many cases, actually lowering your overhead costs. It's a win-win. So let's cut to the chase. Let's talk results. What really happens to your bottom line when you get your revenue cycle truly optimized? The impact isn't just a little bump, it's transformational. First up, your clean claim rate. That's the percentage of claims that get accepted on the very first try. It can soar to 98% or even higher. I mean, just imagine basically eliminating that first frustrating wave of denials. And the bottom line results of that? Well, practices that really dial in their RCM can see their total revenue jump by as much as 30%. That's not just plugging leaks, that's opening up a whole new level of financial health for your practice. And remember that denial rate we talked about, the one hovering at 10 or 20%? With an expert system in place, you can crush that number down to the low 5%. You'll spend way less time chasing down money and way more time focusing on what really matters. So I'll leave you with this final thought. A rock-solid billing process isn't just about money. It's about freedom. The freedom to focus completely on your patients. It's the engine that powers your entire practice. So the only question left to ask is your engine running smoothly, or is it secretly holding you back?